I was employed as a youth worker in Cheshire West for a long, long time, and half of my post was dedicated to the development of LGBT youth work. It was during one particular session we were talking about the coming out process with the group, and they were talking about their experiences of school. Now, some of them had come out at school and experienced physical attack. Some of the young people had come out at school and suffered prolonged verbal taunting, and the rest of them didn't feel like they could be out at school because of what they'd seen everybody else go through. They thought that to be out was to be unsafe. So that presented us with a massive issue. We thought, how are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do? And the upshot was that with myself and the young people, we set about writing a workshop that we'd set out for all the other youth clubs to take part in, an interactive workshop that they could all take part in and feed back into us. That was the basis of what became the Pink Box project, which is what Amelia was talking about earlier. It's about to be relaunched again, I think in its 6th year. So if you'd like to get involved in Pink Box this year and you're working with a group of young people, please sign up to our newsletter on our website, so lgbtyouthnnorthwest.org.uk. If you go to the contact page, you can sign up to our newsletter. Anyway, so the workshop was written, it went out to youth clubs, massively successful project, but what became apparent is we had a really useful education tool. So what we wanted to do was offer it out to high schools, and that's what we did. Take up of these workshops in high schools was pretty slow, pretty arduous to start with, but we've learnt a lot along the way, and once schools started to have us in, they were having us back year after year after year. Now that employment came to an end last year, and I was absolutely delighted and honoured that LGBT Youth North West asked me to come on board to develop the work that we do in schools. So as well as the workshop that we had originally, we've written a whole load more workshops that are age appropriate, fully interactive, discussion-based workshops that young people can take part in. And the growth that we've seen over the past year has absolutely been massive, really, really huge. And that probably is because of the lessons that we learned in the difficult years. Okay? So, in recognition of the fact that we're not the only people trying to do this work, there are lots and lots of pockets of really, really good practice going on all across the country. Amelia organised this event. So it was a day where we invited all people, like myself, people from outside agencies, going into schools and delivering LGBT education. So the day took part in Lancaster Library last year. Here we are, taking part in a number of exercises. We looked at things that had worked really well in the past, things that have been difficult. There was a number of presentations of stuff that people actually do in schools. A really good day of good practice sharing, and a really inspiring and thought-provoking day that really affirmed why we were doing what we were doing. So the information gathered from the day was pulled together to create this. Hopefully you've got one. The best practice guide for LGBT youth work in schools. So the guide itself comprises distinct sections. The foreword I've written, which explains why I do this job, why it's so important. But we're all here, we all understand why this work is important. So the introduction section, the progressive philosophy of LGBT education in schools, is an exploration of the schools out philosophy of dealing with these issues. So let's get young people, so that when I go into a school and I write the words lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans on the book, that there's not a sharp intake of breath, that young people aren't squirming in their seats thinking, oh my God, what's coming next. Let's get these words as everyday language for these young people. So section 1 is a practical guide of getting into schools. Who is the right person to target? And what are some of the questions that you might get asked that you might need answers to. So so we're looking at the laws and the policies that are on your side, and like the Ofsted person before, a lot is on our side. This work needs to go into schools, and there's a lot that can help us get there. So in section 2, specifically looking at the questions that we have been asked in the past, either from schools or people from outside schools asking us to basically justify why we're doing what we're doing. So such as, what if the parents complain about us delivering LGBT awareness work? Well, I'm not aware of any parents that want bullying to happen in their child's school. Simple. So section 3 is all about the examples of good practice. So this ranges from the forum theatre that we saw earlier, Ellie's LGBT History Month presentation, and also the tools that I used in my discussion-based workshops. One of which is the Allport model of discrimination that was mentioned earlier. This is a fabulous tool for working with young people because it really highlights why a simple change at vocabulary level can stop all of these really negative things happening. So a really useful tool, it's there for you to use in the best practice guide. And of course not forgetting the impact of young people. So wherever possible in our training we will have young people with us delivering their personal story so that somebody who is 15, 16 who's gone through this can talk about their own experiences to people of the same age. Really, really powerful. And finally section 4 is a series of video links and websites that you might find useful when designing your work that you want to take in school. And whatever style you choose will be dependent on your own skills and background. But hopefully you'll find some things in here that will be useful and you will be able to use. So there it is, the best practice guide for professionals delivering LGBT awareness work in schools. Hopefully there is one for each of you to take home.
There are more on the reception desk as well.
Wonderful. And for those of you that like to live in a paper-free world, these are available to download from our website as well. So lgbtyouthnorthwest.org.uk.